So the first thing we do on Ladies' Night is we play Dicey Questions. You get 3 rolls on this tower. I've got 8 random questions here, and whatever you roll, that's where we start.
Okay. So I just, okay.
You just drop it right
in
here,
there.
and it'll shoot out into the grass.
I didn't even get a good...
Looks like Jurassic Park.
It's very cool.
What is the best or most memorable wrap gift you've ever received or given?
Ooh, well, when I give, it's usually just like little candle-y things like that. But, on Last Man on Earth, we got a survival kit. So we got like dehydrated food and like packs of water and like in a backpack. I don't know where it is, but they gave it to me.
I don't know what you're hoping for on this
baby.
list right now. This is an infinity pool inspired question. I'm calling it failing naturally. So you're in a commercial where you, like real you're not playing someone. You have to fail naturally. Let me make sure I word this properly. So you can't be without this particular product you're trying to sell. What product would you be able to sell best?
Ooh, maybe, geez, that's tough. Like something to do with food?
Yes.
Because I like eating and I could be naturally passionate about that.
Oh, you took it the opposite way. I'm like, I suck at cooking, so if I have to fail naturally at a commercial where I have to sell a cooking tool.
What am I bad at?
That would make it easier?
I don't know.
Like an air fryer. Like,
Yeah, I
should
don't
sell
have any
air
experience
fryers.
with that.
Can you give me one audition high and then also one audition low and tell me what you learned from that low that you could apply to future auditions?
Oh my gosh. Okay, well there's a lot of lows, but you also kind of just forget them. So let me just like go back. I don't miss the in-person audition, I will say, because you have to like fight traffic across town, get yourself into this studio, which is inevitably in like some massive, massive building, and you have to find the right room, and then you get in and like someone that you really, really respect is in the room waiting for you, and you're just like sweating balls. And I've had a couple of experiences like that where I did not get the job. And then I guess a high would be, I sent in a tape for Rebel Moon on like a Friday, and then on a Monday it was like, you got it. So that was pretty cool.
What's up, everyone? You're back to this channel for one of my favorite things in the world, a Collider Ladies Night episode. That's in person. Cleopatra Coleman. Hello. I'm so happy we're talking in LA where it's warm. I'm not covering my hair with a beanie for an entire week because I can't function unless my ears are covered. It's nice to be here talking to you.
It's nice to be here. Thank you.
What is the movie, performance, personal experience you had, whatever it may be, that first made you say to yourself, I have to be an actor and nothing else?
Wow. Well, I started off as a dancer. I thought I was going to be a ballet dancer. That was my whole thing. Like from age 4, I was doing ballet. I actually told my parents. I went to a class with a friend, and then I declared to my parents at age 4 that I was going to keep going to classes. And I was always the most like theatrical one. And then when I was 7, my dad made a short film and I was in that. I played an alien. And then I just decided one day that I wanted to be an actor. I made a list of some shows that I wanted to be on, and I knew they were filming in Melbourne. And I convinced my parents to move across the country to Melbourne. And within a year, I was on one of those shows, which is crazy. I think it's more just, I don't know, proof of maybe manifestation, or I don't know what it was. But yeah, that's how I got started.
My head is exploding with follow-up questions. The first one that came to mind is, what was this alien short film about specifically?
Well, it's called Transplanet. It was kind of about magic mushrooms.
Okay, I'm glad I asked.
My parents are big-time hippies. I grew up in Byron Bay, which is like a total like alternative hippie town. And I guess that's what was going on. I was not aware of that at the time as a 7-year-old, but I grew up going to raves and yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure you have more follow-up questions now.
I mean, I have a couple. Do you remember the first thing you booked in Hollywood that I guess made things feel real, like you had momentum that you could act on and truly build a career here?
Yeah, it was Step Up Revolution.
Not going to tell you how many times I've seen that movie.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's so fun. I got that, and I got to go to Miami for a couple of months and live in a hotel and just, film this really fun dance movie and play a DJ, and then learned how to DJ based off that and made friends, and my dad visited, and it was great. Yeah.
So with that, and I ask this question a lot now because I find that we often look at something as someone's breakout performance and say like, oh, it's smooth sailing from there. It's fine. Right. But it's always different for the person who's actually going through it. And I think Wikipedia actually calls that movie your breakthrough performance. So did it feel that way to you? And if so, what is something that actually did change for the better from that movie?
No, I mean, it depends how you look at it, I guess. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a breakout performance, but it was that moment that you described of like, okay, like I think maybe I can be okay here. I can make money. I can stay here. I can continue my visa, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if Last Man on Earth is a breakout, although again, it really did feel like, because that went on for 4 years and I was like, okay, like I'm a working actor in LA. Like that's happening for me. But I would even feel like it's even more recent. I would say it would be like A Lot of Nothing, this film that just came out, because to me, it's like a character I've been wanting to play for 20 years. I've been acting 20 years. And, you know, I've been waiting for something like that. And that just came out. So it's funny, like the perspective probably isn't like that at all. But for me, that's how it feels.
I wonder if that movie is the answer to this question, but here's another one I like to ask. Of all of the projects that you've done, which one would you say helped put into perspective your goals for yourself the most, both in terms of the stories you want to tell and also the on-set experiences you wanted to have?
I would say A Lot of Nothing for sure, because, I mean, it was so deeply challenging. The character I was playing she's quite unhinged, and that's something that I'm really enjoying now, and something that I think, although I like to have variety, I like to play all different kinds of characters, like M in Infinity Pool is very buttoned up, and that was a totally different energy. And then A Lot of Nothing, Vanessa is incredibly complex and can be very volatile and vulnerable and all of these different colors. And then the character I just played, V. Stiviano on Sterling, similar thing where there's just like a lot there. That's something that I want to get more involved with, these sort of deeply flawed, maybe sometimes unlikable female characters. I think they're important, and I think we've had a lot of male characters like that you might not always like them, but you love them and you're rooting for them. That's the place that I want to play in.
How has that goal changed maybe the audition or even the offer process for you? Because I feel like, you know, when you're first starting out, you kind of want to accept everything that comes your way just to build experience. But as you go on in this industry, that isn't always the case. And you want to make sure that you're getting the material that offers you those kinds of, creative ways of expressing yourself. But sometimes in the audition stage, you don't know if it's even there. So what are you looking for earlier on to signal to you that in the long run, that is going to be the meaty role I want it to be?
Well, I think there's a time and a place for that. Like not everyone gets that kind of trajectory. For me, I've always been sort of like a journeyman actor and a working actor because I've been doing it for so long, and like would obviously say no to things that were completely inappropriate, but would pretty much audition for most things just to throw my hat in the ring. And then, you know, obviously there were times when I didn't want to, and my management was like, you know, I think that you should throw your hat in the ring, and if you get it, then you can say no. You know, I've always kind of had that policy, but that's no longer my policy. I'm now in a position that I think I can pick and choose a little more and be a little more intentional about what I want to do. And especially in a time where we have more films and more shows than ever before and like so much noise, I'm like, well, what are we saying? Like not only what is the character, but what are we saying in the film or the project overall, and how are we contributing to the conversation? So that's what I'm looking for now.
I don't know if you want to name a title, but now I'm curious. What is something you didn't want to audition for? Someone else encouraged you to give it a shot, and whether you booked the role or not, you got something valuable out of the experience.
I mean, like I said, you have this like amnesia about audition. You just like immediately delete file. So I don't know if I can think of a title. There's definitely been things that I'm like, I should not play that. That's not okay. I should not play that role. But thank you.
I always like asking this question because it gives me a chance to hit more titles. With all of the actors, all the co-stars you've ever had, can you give me one who had a very similar process to your own, where the second you hit set, you were immediately in sync? But then I want the opposite, someone with a completely different approach to the work who maybe challenged you to adapt and try something new and for the better.
Well, I would say on Dope Sick, Kaitlyn Diva and I, were playing lovers, and I don't know if it was because she's a woman or just specifically her, but we got into sync really easily. And, it's always like this. Of course, the love scene is like the first day of shooting, so that's really daunting. And our love scene had a lot of dialogue before and like crying and things like that. So that was like a pretty intense scene to start with. And we just kind of just got right in there, and there was not a moment that I felt she left me, Opposite.
I love that answer. She's one of my favorites. I think
She's
she's
wonderful.
actually probably one of the people that I've interviewed most, like
Oh,
throughout
really?
my career. And I don't know, always lovely, always so thoughtful about her work, and perfect for this kind of interview too.
She is. She's really thoughtful. That's a really good word. And fun. Like we would dance. And we had a great time, even though the show is like really sad and
Excellent show.
I'm really proud to have been part of it. Trying to think of like an opposite person. Oh, okay. So Y'lan Noel, who plays my husband James on A Lot of Nothing, we're very opposite. So in the sense that we're dealing with kind of heavy material, even though it's satirical and it has some laughs in it, it's mostly like it's quite heavy. And his way of dealing with that, he wants to stay in it. So he would go lock himself in the closet of the house that we were filming in. And after weeks of rehearsal with him and having all this fun, all of a sudden he was like really switched off. And I was like, I thought he didn't like me. And then one night we were doing a night shoot. And on night shoots, you get a little loopy. We're getting a little silly. And he was like, a little silly was coming out. And I was like, what's up? Like, how come you're always hiding away? Like, what's going on? Like, where's this guy been? And he's like, Cleo, I'm not like you. I can't just be like, ha, 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 laughing and then switch into like a serious. I got to stay in it. I have to be estranged from you because of the relationship in the movie. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm glad you told me because I thought you didn't like me.
I always like asking Ladies Night guests about working with past guests. You've already brought up Kaitlyn, but now I have to ask about working with Mia. And
Yes.
I mean, she just feels like every single thing she's in, like a one-of-a-kind force. So can you give me an example of a time on set when she took something was on the page and made it something like way more or completely different than what you originally expected?
Oh, like every time. She's very, very intense and very captivating. And I mean, Gabby as a character is written that way, but she as an actor, I mean, it's so interesting. She talks with this really soft voice, but she has this guttural thing that she can bring out that is very special and very dynamic. And as an actor, like it was oftentimes a challenge to just stay in it because she's one of those actors that you get lost sort of watching her performance, especially with a character like that. She's incredible.
I'll end with this because I do always love hearing about what's on someone's bucket list. And, also because you've been talking a little bit about, having some behind the scenes experience with your short film. So whether it's behind the camera or a certain type of role or a certain type of character quality that you've never had the opportunity to play, what is at the top of your bucket list, something you hope to do in the near future?
Okay, well, character-wise, I'm writing a film that I won't say too much about, but it has musical punk aspects, and it's another one of those characters that's, it's like you're walking down Hollywood Boulevard and you see this strung-out girl with a bag full of makeup, and then she, like, drops it, and then she, like, disappears, and you keep going on the road. It's like if you went with her and you saw her day. That's kind of what I'm interested in, these characters that, you don't always like them, you don't always agree with their decisions, but you're somehow rooting for them because there's something about them that you love. Because, the most oddly behaved or terribly behaved person, you can find like linear reasons for why they're behaving that way. And I like to explore that.
You explore that more. I will keep coming back for more. I like those kinds of characters and complexities. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished. I can't wait to see Rebel Moon, and I can't wait to see what comes beyond it as well. You are always welcome back to Collider Ladies Night.
Thank you so much.